what's going on, everybody? Friday here at JEDIOSHI headquarters. Thanks for watching the video, guys. This is a weekend prep video, what you need to know for the weekend. So let's dig in. We'll start with equities. Obviously under pressure again. And Dow Jones lost 34,000. S&P, let me show you guys this. I was talking about, or I mentioned this fib level fib level pinball, double kiss and then 618 down to the 236, bounced up, fell down. Now we're below 236. You know, my whole thesis was above 618 we're bullish, below 236 we're bearish. So I would expect, unless we can somehow pull off a pump into close, you know, which we'll see, but you know, it's not looking good for the bulls here. Obviously, fib levels. This is the daily chart, so we're looking at fib levels here on S&P. I would say another level here on the daily pivot, if you look at candles, is this pivot low here. Actually, it's just the candle body low here at 43.26 for S&P. We're coming up on it pretty close here. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see, you know, more selling here. Will we just bottom here at the low of 42.22? Maybe that's next week. So that's equities under pressure. Bitcoin's under pressure. We're flirting with 40,000. This is again the daily chart on Bitcoin. You know, we had and I want to zoom in here in a minute, but we had an upthrust here as a high point, kind of as a little bit of a head fake, but you know, throwing us back now down. Honestly, man, it just tracks equities so much. We are seeing some separation though. Notice that we have more of a bull wick here than the daily daily S&P chart. So note on that. Honestly, we have been looking at, and this is really like what you need to know for the Bitcoin price chart. We're at a critical point, right? One thing I wanted to point out was interesting. If you go from this high to this low, we did have a throwback to the 702, and we pointed that out. But kiss the 702 got rejected, so that's that. Also, we have a sell signal on the daily, given this it's a break and break signal system. Right, so it really just is trend reversals, momentum changes, trend reversals on the daily chart, which are more significant than obviously lower time frame. But you see how we climbed up this RSI line and we held price support. Obviously, there's a wick. Yes, there's a wick here, but I'm doing bodies, and this captures probably, I would say, 95+% of price action from the low point here. We are above it. RSI is above the line. Price breaks, RSI breaks. Now you get a daily sell signal. So at some point this has to, this resolves. So we are under a sell signal now. That means bears are in control. Bears can do what they want until we come back up and reverse trend and get a signal for reversal. Then the bears are in control. So now we look at, that's why I posted this morning price levels to watch on the downside, right? So we have this wick top. So the wick top, let me actually change that. So the wick top there, we have, and we'll look at the fractal in a minute, but the wick top here at 39.4, you know, if we hold that, then what happens is you hold what would be, let me show you this, what would be a 1 through 5 pattern. It can still hold, right? So if that is 1, that's 2, that's 3. If you just come back and you hold above 1, then your wave structure is still intact, and then you can do a 5. If you break that though, 4 overlaps 1, you have to redraw everything, which is what I was mentioning earlier. So if we break this, I think chances are higher that we break this than we hold it, in my opinion. I'm going to go back to, or let's just do this and go to my red chart here. This is the fractal pattern. Let me zoom out. We've been following this for almost 5 months now. So, and yes, we had separation. We've had separation here in January, and then we didn't double bottom as the fractal kind of indicated we might. Didn't get a double bottom. So it's not perfect, but structurally it's held for a long time. And so if we continue to follow, we'll get a dip here, right? So I'm expecting, because I'm trusting the past more than, I'm trusting something different to happen, and until we can break this fractal significantly, on structure, then I'm inclined to say that I think chances are higher that we follow the fractal more so than we do something else, right? So here we are. Important levels are this high point for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If we hold this level, it's a 4, then go up. But I think I'm leaning towards a higher chance that we follow the fractal. And so, this could play out. This really could play out this weekend. We've been holding time on the fractal pretty well, but let's try to measure this time here. And let me get my date range. So the fractal drop kind of came right on schedule, guys. And so this could, we could start moving up sooner, and our bottom could be, so say our bottom could be 3 to 4 days from now, which would be early to middle of next week. Could be a bottom point here at 36K if it all plays out, and we could start moving up from that point. And we could come back above these levels, I'd say in maybe 7 to 10 days, right? So it could play out pretty quickly with a bottom here, say this weekend or maybe Monday or Tuesday. And if this holds, then from today's candle to a high point would be 21 days. I would stretch this out a little bit and call it more like 30 days. So and this is kind of my playbook, but what I'm expecting is if we continue to follow the fractal, and we'll be here every day, right? But 30 days up, follow the fractal, Bitcoin gets topping signals, alts hopefully separate. If you go back to past alt seasons, they have happened in 30 days. So I wouldn't be surprised to get some better than, say, May, June, July last year action. But again, in my playbook, and what I'm expecting is, regardless of whether this is end of cycle, we get an alt season, regardless of whether this is bear market retracement, regardless of whether this is 3 and there's a new high coming in for this year, I think for me, I will be exiting positions here. That's my plan on a breakdown of chart, right? So we'll watch it. If we get, we just got a daily sell signal here, right? If that occurs again, and we get a top, just be watching this. See that? Perfect signal. Boom, break that. Let's see how, I can't do a fractal on RSI, but I would expect the same thing to happen. Break trend, break RSI, you're breaking down. Hopefully alts lag a bit, like we have seen in the past. So alts kind of hang up here, but then that's the signal. And in my world, it's get what we get, right? So we'll just see. But don't be surprised to see more pressure, especially this weekend, into early next week. Equities need to resolve their condition. If equities don't find a floor and keep falling, this can break down. So yes, there is a case for lower than even 36. So we have, this point, which is more imminent, like today, tomorrow. We have 36. We have a higher low above 33. But if that breaks, then, we could be looking at 30. So that's why I'm just patiently waiting with dry powder. Some of the portfolio, obviously, but with dry powder is that I want to buy on strength. And so I'm going to be waiting for signals. And I mentioned in the Telegram yesterday that we're going to be running more on signals than fancy wave structures and predictions. And so we're going to do that. So what you need to know right now is that we are under a Bitcoin sell signal on the daily. And then what I would do is I would just layer this down into the lower time frames, right? So you go from a daily signal, then you look at, let's look at 4 hour. I don't want to look at this fractal, so I'm going to switch it back to, that's the signal map. Let's go, yeah, green. So that's a sell signal. What I would do is I'd start looking at like 4 hour. So, and you can have, like, I think of signals as a rainbow pattern, but you'll start with a higher time frame. And then the if we switch from a sell signal to a buy signal, it has to start with the lowest time frame. So you're gonna have 5 minute go long, then 15 minute go long, then 1 hour go long. And even as you ladder that up, right? So think about it like a rippling effect. So even as you ripple back up to a high time frame buy signal, you can still have like 5 minute and lower time frame buys and sells fluctuate. It's kind of like, think of like frequencies or ripples or like a rainbow, right? So as you recover, say we do recover on the daily, we flip back to buy signal, your 5 minute has already gone buy signal, your 15 minute, your 1 hour, right? So it progresses, it graduates. And you see the same thing on both sides, short and long. So we're going to be taking a look a lot more at signals and watching for near time frames. So let's start with 5 minute. And again, I've mentioned this a lot, but 5 minute is extremely noisy. You can, I think on average, I would expect signals to last maybe 18 candles, maybe 12, sometimes 12 candles. And really it just depends on the chop of the market, right? So, but I'd say on average, you get signals every, say, 12 candles or so. So if let's just say that's true, 12 candles holds. Well, on a 5 minute chart, your signals could flip every 1 hour, right? If 12 candles is the rule, it kind of holds over time, whatever, or the average, your daily signals can flip every 12 days. And it can happen sooner. It's a bell curve, guys. It's distribution, right? But I'd say the average is somewhere between 12 and maybe 18 candles, on average. But then again, you have outliers and all that, right? So, yes, you can flip from sell to buy in one candle, of course. Anything's possible. But what you tend to see on average is it takes time. So on the 5 minute, you might be flipping back and forth every hour, right? On the 15 minute, you might be flipping back every you might be flipping back and forth, every 3 hours? Is that right? On the 1 hour, you might be flipping back every 12 to say 18 hours. So like for example, like you look at higher highs, lower RSI, right? So you break this down, you get a sell signal and come back up here. Was that an intermediate signal? Was that noise in the 1 hour? Looks like it. So we broke up, but then we couldn't reclaim on the high and we break down. So it's really the degree to which you want to be engaged with the charts, the markets, and what your trade plan is. But if you, like say for example here, we are building RSI in the 1 hour. That's divergence, right? So we have a lower low on higher RSI, but it doesn't mean the price has to go up, right? Just because you have a higher RSI does not mean price is done. That's why I use a system of trend line confirmations. So you need confirmation on RSI and price, for my signal system to work, not just one or the other. Because as you build here, yes, price can keep going down until you flip it, until you get confirmation that your trend has changed and you're moving the other direction. So that's the 1 hour. Then I would go to 4 hour and look for that. See, we have not come back up here yet. So I'm going to blast this because that's kind of a daily line. But see how we came up here and we broke down. It's like right there on the 4 hour RSI. We already saw it on the daily, but here was 4 hour RSI probably preceded the daily signal. So then you come back down here, and when you build up back through here, you look for break, you need a long signal. But the 4 hour does not have to hold as much as the daily. I hope all that makes sense. It's probably the easiest thing to do is stay with 1 hour for macro, more macro trends. Again, I think that can hold for 10 to 12 days on average. And it's really your trade style and how, like I said, how engaged you want to be with the market to what you look at. Right. But as you ladder down, again, let's go back to what I would call the lowest time frame is the 1 hour. It's as you go down in time frame, your signal to noise ratio goes a lot higher. So, sorry, your signal to noise ratio goes lower. Your noise increases. So you get a lot more chop, a lot more moving around. I'd say I do like the 15-minute. I tell you what, looking at the crude chart, I am really liking how the crude chart trades on the 15-minute, or at least has traded recently. You know, it's just, it honors breaks and breaks very well. So I like to look for assets that I can trade like that. Right. So look at this. This is a lot of chop. Even, you know, when you break up whatever here, and even on the 15-minute, you did have, this was, on equities open this morning. We had a drop, then a pop. We came back down, we dropped, and we're just, you know, pretty intense chopping. So it can throw you around quite a bit when you're trying to ride the bull on the lower time frames. Right. So that's kind of my thoughts on signals. But so again, we're gonna get back to, and kind of where we started was like this who's in control heat map or whatever. So we're gonna get back to that. But I would tell you, like, today, bears are in control. We have a 1 day sell signal. We're under that. So as long as that happens, the bears can do what they want. They'll drive the price down. We got to find support. Bulls have to take control. Yes, 40. And one other point. Yes, 40K is kind of a level, psychological level. You know, I drew this old level at 39.5. Yes, above 40 kind of bullish, below 40 kind of bearish. Yes, that holds. But then you look at levels. We have 39.5. We have 36. We have 33, and then we have 30 below us. So we'll have to see what happens. But let's look at one last. Realize this is 16 minutes, guys. Let's look at one last look on the equities. Let's go to lower time frames. So we'll see if we see anything. This is the daily chart. We're selling off. Broke this 236. Let me graduate it down. So let's go to the 4 hour. So we are oversold on RSI on daily. We were not quite that oversold. I have it on 35.65 though. So 4 hour RSI is oversold. You know, we'll see if we can build some strength. Let's look at the 1 hour. 1 hour is even more oversold, as you'd expect, right? Look at these RSI levels and just, you know, how low they get sometimes. And I do have my settings a little faster than standard, but so it does change the RSI value, but it doesn't change the relative trend or anything. So RSI of 15 back here, yes, on Valentine's Day, we are now sitting at, you know, 19. But look, this is a pretty orderly sell-off, just all day, just selling off. Right, so that's 1 hour. Let's go to 15-minute. On 15-minute, we are seeing some strength. You know, from the February 17th at 2 p.m., you know, we are seeing strength. But, you know, it has to ripple outwards, and it has to, you know, you start with the lowest time frame. Your signals will ripple outwards and start changing other things, but they may not, you know, kind of like a ripple. It may not, you may get a 5-minute signal. It may not show up in the 15. You may get a 15. It may not show up in the 1 hour. You may get a 1 hour. It may not show up in the 4. So it has to graduate kind of like that. Anyway, that's how I see it. That's how I run it. And might be helpful for you in the way that you look at charts and time frames. So look at this noise on the 5 minutes, sorry. Break up on RSI, break down, break up. And it's very choppy, very noisy. You know, stick to higher time frames makes it a lot easier, makes it a lot more trend. You do give up, you know, some opportunity in the chop, right? So that's just the trade-off there. But that's that. We'll see how it plays out, guys. I am expecting us to follow this fractal. I am expecting us to have a red weekend. We'll see if we don't. It'd be a nice upside surprise. But that's what I am preparing for, is a buy the dip moment in Bitcoin coming up to maybe next week. And, you know, it could be a good opportunity for us to get a C leg retracement back up. Hopefully all separate, get some really good action. We'll have to wait and see. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe to the channel and share JEDIOSHI, what we're doing. And hope you enjoy your weekend. I'll be with you in the Telegram. No surprises, guys. So we'll watch this together. And again, enjoy the weekend. Another video. If something crazy happens, we'll do something tomorrow or Sunday. But another video, let's plan on Monday. So I'll see you guys. Have a great weekend.